Hey, everybody. It's the Easy Owner Podcast. I'm your host, Karen McCarran. Welcome to the show. Um, so today, there's a couple things I want to talk about. One of the things, and this is really an ask of my community, if you've got a podcast, um, I'm curious to know, how do you, without paying for it, what are some ways that you increase your reach for your podcast? And if you are a listener, obviously sharing it is one of those ways. So if there's content on here that you're finding dull or boring or you're not getting anything from, let me know so I can start creating content that you want to share. I feel like it's important because it's the things that I needed to hear and need to hear, as a businesswoman and a mother and a woman and all the things. But like, I would love to know what your take is on it if you need something extra to make you think, holy shit, I better share this. Okay, so if you're watching this, you'll see the visual, but I'm currently reading the book called The Richest Man in Babylon. It's the original edition, and I think that there's a bunch of them floating around. This one's by George S. Clason, and it was published first in 1926 as separate pamphlets by George S. Clason. So I was told that this is the one to read, not the newer versions of it. And I love it. First of all, I love this book. I love that it's bite-sized. I'm almost through it. I'm taking my time with it because I'm finding that as I'm reading it, there's a lot of moments where I'm like, holy shit, and it just needs to sit and kind of settle in me before I move on to the next thing. So basically, it's a couple of little stories or fables or whatever you want to call them, and it talks about really money psychology and the way that we think about money. And it's, yes, it's richest man in Babylon, but like, let's cut the 1926 or some slack. It is what it is. It's how it was. Um, Women just, we weren't thinking in the same way that we think now. So one of the things that so far that I'm finding the most interesting about this book is the, and I know, we talk about Tony Robbins a lot. We talk about Byron Katie and Joe Dispenza, and I'm actually starting to consume a bit more of Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone's content. But, there's always this conversation around the thermostat around your money or the way that you make money. And this book might be where a lot of these teachers read it or heard it or learned about it or started to learn about it. But it's about raising the bar for what you think you deserve. And that really comes down to your thermostat internally, right? So your thermostat, you can have a thermostat for your what you deem okay as treatment from another human, a spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Your thermostat and how much money you're going to make, your thermostat and what weight you are. Like, I'm currently working to reset my internal thermostat on the weight for my body. And it's not easy. Like, I'm going to say that, and I like, me, I like to be real about everything. Like, none of this stuff is, it's easy in its concept, but it's challenging in its execution. And here's kind of what I mean. Like, when it comes to money, last year, as you know, I had a really shit year in terms of like just how I felt about things and where things were going for me. And, I was in a business that I wasn't loving anymore. I loved the coaching aspect, but I really, really didn't love the business side of it. Um, Financially, I was like, hey, I need to make money in different ways. I can't just make it in this one or two ways. My relationship, even though my marriage had ended a while back, last year really for me was just the acceptance of it, even though it was something I wanted and something um, that was the best thing for everyone involved. It was still I had to really consume the fact that, okay, like, it's actually really over. And so all these things brought me to this place of where I had to raise the bar. I had to raise my financial bar, my body bar, my weight bar, all of these things, and adjust my thermostat accordingly. And so when I'm reading this Richest Man in Babylon book, that's one of the things he talks about. And I actually think I posted it on my Instagram account. If you're not following me, go to Love Soldier Army on Instagram. But and I'm trying to find where it is in the book where I read it. Okay, I actually found it. So it's this is the quote. It says, "Confuse not thy necessary expenses with thy desires. Each of you, together with your good families, have more desires than your earnings can gratify. Therefore, are thy earnings spent to gratify these desires, insofar as they will go. Still, thou retainest many ungrateful desires and gratified desires." So, really, like, I'm just reading this one more thing here. So really what this is saying to me, and this is what I want you to really like come away with, is the fact that like whatever you say you need, you tend to get. So jot that one down. Whatever you say you need, you tend to get. So another way to say that is just like this. I mean, the book is obviously written for Babylonian times, for the purpose of the story. But essentially, what it's saying to me is, I have to be cognizant of what I say I want, because what I say I want, I will get. So if I'm saying I don't need this, I don't need, like, how many of you, be honest right now, like really be honest with yourselves. How many of you have said, I don't need that? I don't need that. I don't need the big house. I don't need fancy cars. I don't need 5-star vacations. And guess what? You're getting what you fucking need, what you've said you've needed. And so if you, I say this all the time, people say they don't need that shit because they don't know how they're going to get it. And so instead of feeling disappointed in the not getting, they just don't say they need it. No, do you need it to live? Fuck no, of course not. But if you're saying constantly, I don't need it, your brain goes, okay, she doesn't need it. And so she's not getting it. And I really want you to understand that, because if you're sitting there saying, I don't need, that's a command to the universe. That's a command to your subconscious, first of all. And then that's a command to God, or command to universe, command to spirit, infinite intelligence, whatever you refer to it as. So if you're being honest, write down a list of all the things you've said in the past that you don't need, because I guarantee you don't fucking have it. Right? So it's like, okay, if I'm sitting here and I'm saying I don't need those things, then I'm going to get what I'm saying I require. So all of a sudden, if you start to switch that to a different conversation altogether, and you start to raise the bar of what you desire. My coach, like the program that I was in last year, Manifestation Babe, she said, what you desire, you deserve. Write it down, ladies. What you desire, you deserve. Holy shit. So we have this idea that, well, I don't deserve it. I shouldn't have it. I can't raise the thermostat because that makes me a greedy bitch. Or how many times have you said that makes me materialistic? All this nonsense. It's all bullshit. Like if you just looked at the whole entire life and looked at it like the game that it is, like look at it like the game that it is. Why does so and so deserve to have her wildest dreams played out and you don't? Who made that rule up? And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, like I work part-time and I make a decent living, I have a couple of ways that I make money. And as things progress, like, obviously when I start real estate, my time is not going to be as fluid, but maybe it will be, depends on how I play that out. But so if I make, let's call it $300,000-$400,000 a year, working 20 hours a week, and you're mad about it, don't be mad at me about it. Be mad at you about it. Like that's how I've heard that recently as well, where I'm like, why are we mad at the person who's doing it? Why are we not fucking mad at ourselves for thinking we can't? Why are we not angry with and anger is stupid. Like what's the point of feeling anger? But that's what you feel in those moments when you're looking at influencers, etc. online, and you're like, oh, why the fucking she? Well, instead of getting mad at her, turn that shit around and look at yourself and think, well, okay, who am I really pissed at here? Am I pissed at her because she's making a whole ton of money and she works part-time? No. I'm angry with myself because I've created these limiting beliefs and I've lowered my thermostat. I've gotten myself to a place where I'm accepting 60,000, 40,000, 50,000 a year doing a job I friggin' hate For people who don't appreciate me, and that's not always the case, but if you're in a job right now where your your income isn't matching the kind of life you want to live, that's not the boss's fault. That's not even that's not even your client's fault if you're self-employed. That's your fault. That's you not raising the bar. It's not they can't afford me. Find clients who can, right? Like, we have to stop bullshitting ourselves altogether in this whole idea that it's someone else's problem or fault. If I raise my frequency and I raise my thermostat and I say, this year I'm going to bring in for myself above and beyond, I'm going to bring in $300,000. And I keep having that loop versus if I said I'm bringing in $100,000, I'm going to raise my frequency to meet the 300K. That's just how it goes. So if you're upset about it, don't blame the people that are doing it. Look at yourself and say, holy crap, beautiful opportunity. I have a great opportunity here to look at my own behavior. I have a great opportunity to look at, like, do you know how much time people waste looking outside of themselves for the reason their life looks the way it does? Like, most people waste their entire life like that. You're not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. You're for sure not. If you're listening to this podcast, you know there's more. You know it's on you to get it. So you're for sure not wasting time. But if you are by some chance still looking out there at somebody else's life and saying it's their fucking fault that I'm not living the life of my dreams, sister, here's your wake-up call. The only person, and I mean the only person who is responsible to create the life of their dreams is you. It's me. It has nothing to do with those women. I know influencers who are making multi-million dollars just being themselves. Do I need to get mad at it? No. Do I need to look at myself and say, well, shit, if they can do it, I can do it? Yeah. Raise your thermostat. So here are the ways that you raise your thermostat. And it's, again, it might sound like a broken record, but we go back and back and back. I go back to the basics visualization. If I want a life different than the life I'm leading in terms of maybe I want more travel, maybe I want more clothing that is higher energy or higher quality. Maybe I want to eat a higher quality food. Maybe I want to go on better trips. Maybe I want a better car. Maybe I want a more intense and passion-filled intimate relationship with my partner. The visualization for me, and I'm sure for many of you, is the strongest anchor there is. So spend time visualizing. If there are any meditations, I've got meditations. I'm happy to share them. I've got an abundance meditation that I can send you for free. I've got a 6-figure self meditation that I can send you for free. Ask for it. I'm saying to you right now, if you want it, ask me for it. It will help you in your visualization. And if nobody asks me for it, then I'm calling bullshit on anyone listening to this, because that you don't really want to figure it out. And I want you to figure it out, because the happier you are, the happier your family is, the happier your spouse, your friends, and then it starts to bleed into the world. And then guess what? All of a sudden, everyone's living this beautiful life and things change. Because ultimately, that's my goal. I want the whole world to do what they want to do and be happy about it. Like, is that going to happen probably in my lifetime? No. But can we make it so there's more happiness? Yeah. But that starts with your internal conversation. So if you want the meditation, ask me. I'm happy to share it. Number 2, can you guess what I'm going to say? Journaling. You've got to write it down. Every single day. I have been wickedly inconsistent with my writing. And I'm on day 2 today of my 30-day challenge. I'm going to post it online again. I'm going to post, maybe if you want to do the challenge with me, giddy up, let's go. You can start at any time. Just do 30 days in a row of journaling, of visualization, of gratitude, all of those things. But the way that you raise it is you first declare that your thermostat is too low, whatever the thermostat is in charge of, whether it's, again, your body, your money, your whatever. Just say it. It's too low. I want to raise the bar. I want to raise the vibration. Cool. Okay. So number 1, start to visualize, what does that person's life look like? If you want to do $1 million in sales this year, what is the person who's doing $1 million, what kind of visualization does she have or he have? What kind of life do they think about? Right? So, and then write it out. Like what you write, you invite. What you write, you invite. Joseph McClendon taught me that. Sorry, Joseph McClendon the third. But visualization and writing it out, those are the two most basic, easy, free effing things. If you're listening to this podcast, you've got an iPhone or an Android or a laptop or a something. That means you can do these things. You can get on YouTube. I actually today made a video. It's only 4.5 minutes long, but I'm going to post it on YouTube of a little visualization, put to music. Visualize, spend time in that frequency. Think about what do the people when I'm looking out there and I'm thinking, oh, blah, 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 look at Martha and her fucking life. What does Martha do? What kind of media does Martha consume? What kind of books does she read? Are you reading? Are you reading? On a daily basis. Do I read every single day? No, I'd be lying if I said I did, but I do read many days out of the week. And maybe it's 2 pages. Like I said, I'm reading The Richest Man in Babylon right now. It's taking me a minute. But I'm really loving this book. Like it's the way that he talks about saving, the way that he talks about spending, the thermostat, it's an incredible book. But I want you to really take to heart, like these things are not complicated. We make them complicated. We make it sound like it's the hardest thing in the world to do, but it's not. Just start doing 3 things. So number 1, visualization. Number 2, writing in a journal. Number 3, read something. 10 pages a day. That's something that's not on your phone, not clickbait, not bullshit, something you intentionally go and look for to read. I recommend The Richest Man in Babylon to start with. Start there. Start there. So in the end, my frequency is totally changed. My thermostat is increased a lot. And guess what? All of a sudden, because remember, I'm a generator and a responder according to my human design, and responders, we need to respond. So I've relaxed. I'm not going after things. I'm just letting things come to me. And lo and behold, they're coming to me left, right, and center. I have opportunities. So I want you to just remember that, like, do your human design if you've not done it. I've talked about it on the show many times. It's so awesome. I friggin' love it. But like, stop. The thing that freaks me out, there's not a lot that rattles me, but one of the things that rattles me the most is when I think about, like, when I'm at the end of my life, am I going to look back and be like, I completely went after it? And if the answer is no, then that freaks me out. And so I continue to go after it. Like, last night I had an opportunity to go out and play cards with my girlfriends who I adore, and I love the game. It's euchre. I just learned how to play it. I'm still crappy at it, but I fucking love it. Would I have loved to go and spend time with my girlfriends and play euchre? For sure. But I know if I went, I'd be up late. Today would have been a write-off. I may have had a drink or two because dry January is over. I would have felt like garbage today. I got up at 8. I was at my computer by 8:20. Like, I'm willing to make these sacrifices to raise my vibration, like including my physical vibration. So it's like, these are not everyone's going to do that. And not everyone's going to win at the same level that you're winning. But it's important that you actually sit and get honest about the kind of life that you want, and then do the things that you know you need to do to get there. And they're not complicated, I promise you. But my vibration's different. Me making the choice to stay in last night, that's a huge shift for me. Like, it just is a big deal that I just made the decision to not go. Because I get FOMO all the time, right? But like, if I look back, even if I look 2 days ahead and I go, well, like, even actually, fuck 2 days. This morning, was I thinking, oh man, I wish I'd gone? No, I was thinking, God, I'm glad I didn't. And I don't want to, the fear of regret is massive for me. So my fear of regret is larger than my FOMO. I used to live by the FOMO thing until I started to realize, like, my fear of regret is much bigger than my fear of missing out. So I'm not regretting not going last night. I'm happy they got together. I'm happy they had a good time. But for me personally, I won because I didn't go. And that's a difference in my thermostat. Because my thermostat's higher now since last year, it's like, okay, so if me go, because by the way, I went out Friday night and did exactly that. I had a couple of drinks. We stayed and played till 4 o'clock in the friggin' morning. Won some games, lost some games. But I was so tired yesterday. So yesterday I did stuff. I'm just going to have a sip of my water. Yesterday I did some things, but I didn't feel great. Today I feel fine. But my thermostat is higher now, and that is showing in my habits and my behavior. So, ladies, just get really honest about where you're at, because lying to yourself is the dumbest freaking thing you could do. I was honest with myself. If I go out tonight, I'm going to be fucking tired on Sunday. I'm probably going to lay in bed watching Harry Potter, whatever, whatever. I could have said, yeah, but I deserve it. I was, I didn't go out all week, or whatever combination of bullshit I was going to tell myself. But I was honest. Honestly, Kara, if you go out tonight, you're going to be a fucking write-off for half or more of the day tomorrow. So you're talking about you want to raise your thermostat? Biatch, you can't go out tonight. And that's okay. But you got to get honest. So now that my frequency is higher, now that my thermostat is higher, because I know what I want to accomplish this year, it was easy to make that choice. So I hope that was helpful. Honestly, like if there's other content that you want me to talk about, let me know. I mean, I'll riff on anything basically, but I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you and hear you on the next, or talk to you on the next episode. I love you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.